What about
It was especially when they were starting out in the 90s and 20s.
Hit it.
Welcome to another episode of Football Theory. My name is Ivan Sanchez. Here with my co-host.
Co-host Alejandro Gutierrez. Welcome back to the episode. Yep, episode 2.
So we have a name now. We got a name for. We did the first episode. At the time we didn't have a name. We brainstormed and Alex, you came up with Football Theory after a few different ideas, a few different brainstorms that didn't make the final cut. And so here we are, brainstorm complete. We have the Football Theory podcast.
Yep.
And we're gonna get right into it. We have plenty to cover. This is the idea of the podcast, of course, is to touch on Mexican soccer every podcast and then touch on everything else around the world. But, the biggest story that happened since we last met last week was, at the time, very tragic. And it's something, you have to touch right away before we go into Mexican soccer. So we'll touch Mexican soccer on the second part of the podcast. But it was the collapse of Christian Eriksen for Denmark in the opening group stage against Finland, and really just a surreal thing to witness and see happen in real time. And it's one of those things that we can talk about, each of us, our experiences with it, but it's kind of one of those things that kind of impossible to put into words how one could feel when you saw it happen in real time.
And you're right. I remember where I was. Everyone's gonna remember where they were during that moment. I definitely stepped out. I usually don't watch Euro games like that. I'm not a huge like watching just smaller games like that. So, but it was one of those Saturday mornings where T-ball was going to start later on, and so we were sitting around, and I just put the game on while I was cooking, and then my son wanted to go out and practice some swings. So we went out to the back, and I just started getting a bunch of text messages from my buddies. Shout out to them. And I get a big bunch of text messages like, "Hey, did you see that? You see that?" I'm like, "What?" So I run back inside, and I see it, and yeah, man, that's something that's definitely going to change football from here going forward. We'll talk about that why, but I also something that we came up with. We said that last episode 1, talking about like the health of these players. I don't know if that can kind of tie in with this, but obviously we talked about these players are tired, they're overplayed, and like I said, I mean, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But from what I hear, right, he had a cardiac arrest, right, for a minute or two, right?
Yeah, that looks like the reason why he went down. Yeah, we did touch on the fact that these players had long seasons. We've been running on very tight schedules the last 16 months because of the pandemic. And again, this is somebody who is probably in the 1% more than the highest of the healthiest of people, 29-year-old playing professional soccer, playing it at an elite level, been doing it for a long time, and to see that happen. And, luckily he's fine. Luckily he's okay. The pictures came out that he was conscious when and awake when they were trying him off. And you have to watch the words you say. For the worst situation that was, the best possible outcome came from it. I think from the quick reactions from the Denmark captain, from Schmeichel as well, help the team covering around, giving him the privacy, consulting the wife, the ref quickly recognizing there's something wrong, the medics getting there in time, the fact that what reports came out, they were able to shock him and get the heart going again in the first try, all these little things that added up to what could have really been to save this person's life.
Yeah, I think the word lucky is being used too nicely, right? Because lucky is definitely the word, because man, you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about someone that practically died. If that happens to you or I, somebody else somewhere else, a youth game, or one of those indoor games that you play at, I mean, it's over, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's not, the medical response is not there, the attention is not there, and so like you said, someone that's in tip-top shape, you can't blame anything on anything else, and it's just one of those things that definitely shook the world. And I'm glad that they were able to, like you said, the best possible solution came out of it was him being alive, and his teammates coming around him, his teammates from other teams as well, embracing it. And so, hopefully it doesn't happen again. Unfortunately, it probably will one day, because, You remember that? I think there was a player from Cameroon, right, in the 90s. I remember that, like, he just passing out.
2001 Federations Cup thing.
Yeah, like I think in 01, I think actually.
Yep.
And so I think one of the second, I think it was the second Confederation Cup. And so, like, those kind of things it happens because it's a hell. These guys are playing. They're playing the sport, and it happens in football. It happens in college football. Right? You hear in the summer people, they die, and so it's it's an athletic event, and your health is obviously at risk every time you get out there. So yeah,
and we don't know what if this was a genetic thing, something that had been passed down that he didn't know about. So many other questions and topics that we won't touch on because we're not medical experts, and all we care about is for him to be healthy moving forward, regardless if he plays or not. Bigger questions.
It's kind of like, well, it's one of those.
It was especially when they were starting out.